Veni Creator Spiritus.
Father Keating, many people in our increasingly materialistic world view the spiritual life as a means of coping with the stresses of life. Newcomers to our meditation groups speak of seeking peace, getting relief from stress, and becoming more peaceful. What message can you give to people who are searching for happiness, not finding it, and weighed down by the struggle of daily living?
This is a big issue, and there are various superficial ways of addressing this desire for happiness or peace or less stress. And if that's what people want, they could find it maybe over the counter with some kind of drug to ease temporary tension. But if this desire is coming from a deep place, and it really is, but not always recognized that way, then it requires some deep changes in our attitudes, belief systems, and behavior patterns. And it raises the question, one of the fundamental questions that the scripture raises. So this is not a new issue. Remember when Adam got into trouble with God and felt the shame of having disobeyed God, his first response was to head for the woods, in other words, to hide. So he and Eve hid in the underbrush, and I guess they would have stayed there forever, except God came looking for them and issued one of those great questions of all time, namely, Adam, where are you? Or, where are you? Or, where are you? It depends how you emphasize the thing. But it is the basic question that arises in conversion, and it represents God calling us into an awareness of what our relationship to God is. And so what Adam and Eve should have done is to come out of the woods and tell God, we've made a terrible mistake, won't you forgive us? But they didn't do that. It would have saved all the rest of humanity a lot of trouble. In any case, we're born in the woods. We're born without the experience of God that Adam and Eve evidently had as being created in God's image and likeness. So we're created in God's image, but without the likeness that Adam had, which was freedom from death and disease and all the human problems that are the consequences of not experiencing the presence of God at a deep enough level. So at some time in our life, and sometimes by circumstances, sometimes by illness, exhaustion, disaster, etc., we hear this same question basically. And God is lovingly asks us, where are you? In other words, what is your relationship with me at this point? And wouldn't you like to do something about it is implied. So self-knowledge, which is the traditional word in Christian spirituality for becoming aware of the weakness of human nature, the illusions of happiness that we pursue, and our craving to find happiness in various forms of materialism or even spiritual consolation that are not God, prompts us to take ourselves in hand and to begin to seriously follow a program that would heal us. And so people normally turn to religion to do this, or to a deeper practice of the religion they already have. And this is where this is the job of religions, is to help people to see where they are and that they're being called to be healed. If you only see where you are and you're miserable, then you fall into despair. If you don't know how sick you are, then you continue to pursue the illusions that make you more ill. So religion provides us then with the tools to begin a healing process that recognizes God's great love for us and at the same time affirms our basic goodness, so that we have the courage then to trust God and start out in the difficult work that might be called the divine therapy, in which God brings to our attention those obstacles that prevent us from being honest.
You are suggesting then that the lack of fulfillment in the human condition is due to the search for happiness in the wrong places.
Exactly.
Into this human condition, what message does Christianity bring?
It looks as though God was so concerned about the predicament that the human race was in, and loved it so much that he sent his only begotten Son, the Son of his bosom, into the world and to become a kind of divine human being, to give us an example of how to live the divine life in human form, since we didn't know how to do this. And at the same time to provide us with teaching and the support and grace we need interiorly from the divine presence within us to address our problems one by one in a way that is orderly and which is led by Christ and the Spirit of Christ that has been given to us in baptism and the other sacraments.